Good day, everybody, and welcome to your first edition of Wordy Screencasts, where today you are going to learn. All right, so we're learning to annotate nonfiction using some guiding questions and critically think along the way, too, so we can better understand and think critically about what we read. So it's not just enough to read it. We do want to think and form our own opinions and thoughts. That really is how we learn. So you know you've got it when you can define and differentiate between fiction and nonfiction, explain the difference, and list examples of fiction and nonfiction. And then at the end, we're going to work on 3 guiding questions we can use when annotating nonfiction. Today we're going to focus on noting on the text items that surprised you. Surprise! All right, nonfiction. It's a body of work that appears to tell readers about the real world, a real experience, a real person, an idea, or a belief. It is not always true. That's a misconception that a lot of people have, is fiction made up, nonfiction true. No, it's based on truth. It's based on our real world. It appears to tell us something about it, but sometimes like fake news. It's nonfiction. It's about our world, but may not always be exactly true, and that's where we as readers have to really think critically about it. It's not always credible either. Again, fake news. All right. So here's the difference. Fiction, I'm the author. I'm inviting you into my made-up imagined world. Historical fiction, yeah, it's based on a little bit of history, but it's still kind of a made-up imagined scenario within that world. So there is a little crossover sometimes. But fiction, I've imagined this world. Nonfiction intrudes, here's a good one, intrudes in our lives and claims to tell me something about it. So it's about my world, but claim to tell me something about it. Here's some examples. Fiction, Diary of a Wimpy Kid, that many of you probably read the series. It's made up. Romeo and Juliet. Might be based on a family, but the story itself is made up. It's imagined. We will read that this year. Stranger Things. Fiction. Here's some, and Avengers Endgame. Fiction. All right. Writer has created a world and invited us into it. Here's some nonfiction. Truths in our lives and claims to tell us something about it. Sometimes it's all accurate, credible, reliable. Sometimes, not so much. All right. Stories such as when Queen Elizabeth had passed away. Nonfiction. It's about our world. Snapchat's new parental controls try to mimic real-life parenting, minus the hovering. Okay? Snapchat, it's our world. It's what's happening. This is nonfiction. Dancing with the Stars reflects on our bachelorette experience. Nonfiction. Sports news. Jason Kelsey's expletive-laced rant says about Jalen Hurts. Nonfiction. A story about science and global warming. Our world. Claiming to tell us something. Nonfiction. Historical documents. Declaration of Independence. Nonfiction. Steps to spackle your wall. Nonfiction. Baking. Nonfiction. School news. This was very serious, but over the summer, I guess Mr. Jorgensen and Coach Coombs responded to an incident and saved one of our students' lives. So, nonfiction. Your student handbook, nonfiction. What I'm getting at is probably 90% of what you read in life is nonfiction. That's why it's important we really understand what we read and think critically about it. You have to have your own opinions. All right, so what I'm going to show you in a minute, a little tip of the hat here to Kindly and Beers for this book where I got these strategies from. All right, so there are 3 guiding questions you can ask yourself when annotating nonfiction. We're going to work with one today, one tomorrow, and one later in the year. So today, what surprised me? Or look for surprises. Surprise! 2, what did the author think I already knew? They're going to assume something. It's their fault I don't understand it. We still have to make sense of it, but we're blaming them. It's not our fault. And 3, what challenge, change, or confirm what I already know? That'll be a big one. Again, we'll tackle that one another day. Today, we're going to focus on what surprised me. So we annotate, kind of went over, or will have gone over, before you've seen this video. We want to make notes in the margin to kind of help us understand what it is we're highlighting, underlining, so we don't have to go back and reread everything again. Sometimes the text can be very complex. I've already spent time figuring out what it means. Why just highlight it and have to reread it and do that again when I can just put the comments in margin? It makes it quicker later when you have to find evidence, determine what it is you think about the topic. Write summaries. So we're going to focus on this side post of when we come across something that surprises us, we're going to stop, make note of it. It's a good strategy to use. All right. So surprises. There can be 4 types. New information. I didn't know that. I just didn't know it. It's new. It surprises me. Suspicious information. You go, you know what? Well, I really believe that. Remember, nonfiction's not always credible, reliable. So if you're questioning it, note that. Clarifying information where it's like, yeah, I didn't understand that the first time. I get it now. That makes sense. And then a different perspective, you're going, you know what? I never really thought about it that way. It's kind of making you question what you initially thought. Those are surprises. It's surprising to you. So we're going to go over a couple different types today. So I do want to point out, it does not have to be this huge surprise like, oh my God, I never knew this before. No. It could be something like this. From Life and Times of the Honeybee. Pilgrims brought the first honeybees to America. By the 1850s, honeybees had flown to California. I never knew the Pilgrims brought the honeybees here. That is surprising to me. So if I go back, what surprised me? Things I didn't know before, new information. Well, this is new to me. Now, I'm not going to go all of a sudden running down the hallway going, Mr. Aiello, I never knew this. You believe the honeybees are brought to America? By the way, Mr. Aiello is our principal. I know we're still getting used to school. So no, I'm not going to run in my house tonight and go, yo, everybody, the honeybees brought to America by the Pilgrims. Oh my, no, it's not a huge surprise, but it is a surprise, so I would note that. So to recap, what surprised us? New information, such as the Pilgrims brought the honeybees to America. Suspicious information. Oh, I get it now. And I really never thought of it that way. It's a great point. All right, so now we should be able to, there's 3 guiding questions, and we're going to focus on annotating, and you should be able to differentiate between fiction and nonfiction. Give me examples of fiction and nonfiction, and we're going to work next on annotating for surprise. All right, Wardy is out.